All right, what is up, everyone? Today is Tuesday, which means that's time for another live Q&A. As always, I'm your host, Paul J Lipsky, here to answer all the questions you guys have, as many as I can, about dropshipping on different marketplaces like eBay and Facebook Marketplace. It's pretty much all we talk about here on this channel. We talk about some other ways to make money online as well, but that's the focus of what we do, because dropshipping on those marketplaces is probably the simplest way to get started with e-commerce. The overhead is much lower than a traditional e-commerce business, definitely a lot lower than if you were to buy a bunch of inventory up front, something you don't have to do with dropshipping. But I make a ton of videos about that here on this channel and how you can get started dropshipping. But this Q&A is a chance for you to just come in, ask any questions that you have, and I do my best to answer as many of those questions as I can for you all. It is currently November 15th, which means next week is... what's the word I'm looking for? Black Friday. It slipped my mind for a second. Black Friday, which means that it is the start of the craziness that is the holiday shopping season. And even this year, we're going to see just tons of sales start rolling in at the end of next week, picking up until right before Christmas. So it's absolutely going to get insane, but I'll still continue to be here every single week on Tuesdays. So make sure you subscribe and join us for the next Q&A, which I do every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. All right. Let's see what questions we got. Mohammed says, is it possible to ignore delivery charges from Walmart using AutoDS? Yeah, so this is a setting in Walmart. For those of you who don't know, setting in AutoDS. For those of you who don't know, AutoDS is a software that we use to help us automate our eBay dropshipping business. So what it does is you could plug items into AutoDS and it will automatically list them for sale onto eBay for you. And if there's any price or stock changes, like if the price changes on your supplier's website or the item goes out of stock, all that will be updated on eBay for you automatically. So that's what the software does. It's a dropshipping automation software. That's what it's designed for. There's a bunch of other things it does, but primarily that's what it's for. Now, when you're dropshipping from like Walmart onto eBay or other suppliers like Home Depot, Amazon, some of them will actually charge you delivery. They'll have delivery charges for those items. For Walmart, for most items that are under $35, they charge you $5.99 for shipping for those items. So, for a lot of the suppliers, like I know for Home Depot, you can go in and check off a box, so it will not, what's it called? Like account for the delivery charges, because sometimes it's possible to get free shipping on Home Depot. For Walmart, I thought that option wasn't there. I haven't actually looked because I do pay shipping when I use Walmart. The only way you wouldn't pay shipping from Walmart is if you're using Walmart Plus, which doesn't really work for drop shipping. Let me quickly look because, like I said, I don't use Walmart Plus, which means that every time I buy an item from Walmart that's under $35, which we pretty much avoid those items, but when I do, those items, I do pay the $5.99 for shipping. So I never actually looked to see if there's a way to turn it off. Let me see. I'm just logging in now and I'm going to go into the settings, enter my password. Let's see. And I'm obviously not showing you guys this stuff because this is my password to my actual account. So let me go into the settings here and see what we got. So if I go to Walmart, pricing, let's see. Oh, yes. So the way you get to this is, I'm not going to show my screen in case I don't see anything on here, but just in case. So you want to log into AutoDS, click on settings on the bottom left. And then for your supplier, come to Walmart. Under the tab that says pricing, scroll all the way down. It says include shipping price, and you can uncheck that. So yeah, that's how you would do that. Let's see. Okay, great question from Cred. Cred says, Paul, I'm at the very beginning of your Facebook Marketplace dropshipping course. I don't feel confident enough that I've learned enough because I guess because you just started. Where'd it go? To take advantage of listing during Q4. Do sellers still sell well after that on Facebook Marketplace? Yeah, you're gonna be fine. So the cool thing is that even if you don't feel like you've had enough time or enough runway, whatever you want to call it, to get enough items into your store before Q4 hits to really take advantage of it, you're still going to see an uptick in sales. As long as you have some items listed, you're still going to see an increase in sales during Q4. Now, this is kind of like a misconception. Most people think that during Q4, in order to do really well, they have to list up a bunch of items that people would buy during the holidays, like toys and Christmas decorations and things like that. And while those items certainly do really well during Q4, and if you have the chance, you should add them to your store, you're also going to find that items that sell all year long anyway are going to still sell during Q4, and they're going to sell more of them during Q4. And that's because pretty much anything can be a gift, right? I sell a lot of tools, and we sell more tools during Q4 than any other time of the year. Why? Because people buy them as gifts, even though they're not something you traditionally think of as a gift, right? So you're still going to see an increase in sales during Q4, and certainly afterward, you're just going to continue to grow at a normal rate. So I wouldn't be really worried about that at all, Cred. Hey, Christina, how's it going? Great to see you. Okay. Christina says, can you add a video to your Facebook Marketplace course teaching how to fill out other tax forms such as a Reg 1 and other forms? The Reg 1 is asking for an Illinois Secretary of State ID. What is that? How do I get one? Also, what would we use to describe our business activities? Reg 1 asks if we're registering as an out-of-state remote retailer. Are we, or are we registering as a permanent office? Okay, so what Christina is talking about here is that one of the methods that I teach when it comes to dropshipping that really gives us an advantage is that you want to work to become tax exempt. This is something I teach all my students inside my courses. You can become tax exempt, meaning when you're buying items from different suppliers, certain suppliers, you don't have to pay sales tax to those suppliers. So Walmart's a good example. We were just talking about Walmart. When I order items from Walmart, I don't pay sales tax on those items, no matter where they get shipped to. So what that means is that if an item costs $10, is listed at $10 in Walmart, let's give a different example. Let's say the item costs $100 in Walmart, then that's how much it's going to cost me, $100. I'm not going to pay extra for sales tax on that. And that's because my customers on eBay, they're getting charged sales tax. So they are the final consumer who has to pay the sales tax. So you really save a lot of money by becoming sales tax exempt. It's definitely something you should do. Now, in my course, I give a ton of information on how to get set up with that. Unfortunately, one of the steps is that you need to register with your state, which in this case, Christina, it's for Illinois. And unfortunately, there's 50 different states, so I can't show you. I don't have in the course 50 different videos, one for each state. I just can't do it. I don't have the bandwidth for that. So a really good resource for you is called TaxJar. So let's look this up. We'll go into TaxJar and see what kind of information it has, because this kind of gives you a pretty good information, good overview of what you have to do for every single state. So TaxJar. Exemption by state. I'm not exactly sure how to find it. I do have a link in the course, but I believe this is it. Sales tax by state, customer exemption. So we're going to come down to Illinois. Where is it? Illinois revenue and sales tax use form. Buyers should find and complete the appropriate forms and provide to the sellers as often CT61. This might not be exactly what we're looking for. So the one she's talking about is a Reg 1, and usually there's good information on this website about it as well, although this might not be. So let me try something else. Apply for sales tax exemption by state tax jar. I think this is the same website, right? Yeah, I have it linked up in the course. I don't have it, but that's generally what I do is I start by looking there on TaxJar because it usually gives you a ton of good information on how you can get started with that. Yeah. If you live in Illinois, then if you don't live there, rather, then you would register as an out-of-state remote seller. Otherwise, yes, you have an office there. Okay, Christina wants to know, if we include the shipping cost, let's say it's $6 in the price, but offer free shipping, how does that work? Yes. Okay, great question. So, great question, Christina. So let's say you're buying an item from Walmart and it costs $20 and you have to pay an extra $5.99 for shipping. So let's say it costs you $26 and your sales tax exempt. So it costs you $26. Okay. Now on Facebook Marketplace, you're selling that item. You're going to mark it up by enough to cover the $26 plus more for profit. So let's say you listed at $50. Okay. They're paying $50, and in this scenario, they are not being charged shipping for that. They're just going to pay $50. So when you get that $50 or when you get that sale come in, you're going to spend 20 of it on the item. You're going to spend 6 of it on shipping. Facebook's going to take 5% fee of the overall $50, and then you're going to keep the rest as profit. Okay, so that's how it works. It's going to look like to the buyer like they're getting free shipping. And they're not being charged extra for shipping, but it's built into the price of the item. So it feels like they're getting a good deal there. All right. Zeldko says, my account got banned on eBay. I am from Europe and selling in the USA, but customer support told me that is okay. Any help, please? Despite what they tell you, they might tell you in the chat that you're allowed to sell on eBay.com from outside the United States, but it's very common that if you do that, you're going to get suspended. So especially if you lie about it and say you are from, like in your account, you say you give a US address, and that's like a surefire way to get suspended. Most of the people that I see getting suspended or banned on eBay, it's because they don't live in the United States. And whether you agree with that or not, that is what eBay does. If you're here in the United States and you sign up for an eBay account, you're probably going to be fine. But from outside the United States, that's most of the suspensions, almost all of them are for that exact reason. Oh, Christina, you're fine. You're fine. I know it was a lot of messages at once, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. Hey, what's up, Mike? How's it going? So Lorenzo got shut down on Facebook, but got his account back, shut down again. Yeah, you got to reach. Yeah, there's some bugs on Facebook at the moment. I'm hoping that they just get worked out. That's kind of what's happened in the past. Facebook Marketplace is still pretty new system. And when it first came out, we saw a bunch of bugs. And then the bugs just kind of worked themselves out, or they got fixed. Then a few months later, we saw some more bugs, and those ones got fixed. So I think if you just kind of are a little patient with it, you're going to see that those problems, those bugs just kind of get worked out. Unfortunately, I don't have a better answer because Facebook isn't the best at communicating with us and telling us what's going on. But what you should really look at is to join the Facebook Marketplace Facebook group. There's a group on Facebook for sellers who use Facebook Marketplace. I would join that group and air your grievances in there, post up about any problems that you're having, because that is the best place I have found where they actually share information with you and they actually listen and respond. So I would check that out. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Omar. Like, why would you be apologizing to eBay and Facebook every time we did something completely wrong? I'm not following you. Is high ticket dropshipping a good idea on eBay? Yeah, I mean, not super high ticket. What do you mean by high ticket? Okay, I don't really sell items that are over about $300, and even that's pushing it. Like, I don't like selling items that are really over $200. There are plenty of items that are less than that. And those items will sell faster. The cheaper items will sell faster. You'll sell them more often. And there's less of a risk involved, right? Even though if you have tracking numbers showing the item has been delivered, you should be covered, there's still a risk there. So I usually avoid those items. George wants to know what I think about online arbitrage. So online arbitrage is cool. It's very, very similar to dropshipping in many ways. For those of you who don't know what it is, this is where you go onto websites, like you go onto Walmart today, you go onto different websites like Nike.com, even eBay.com, and buy a bunch of items today. They get delivered to your house in like a couple of weeks or so. And then you repackage them, put them into a box, and you don't repackage them. You take them out of the box that it came in, like let me rephrase that. I just want to be really clear so there's not a misunderstanding. You get a box, let's say from like Walmart. You open that box and inside are like 10 of the same item, 20 of the same item. You take all those items out, you put them in a new box with some other items, and you send all those items together in one box or a couple of boxes to Amazon. Then Amazon will put them into their system, and then you'll be able to sell those items on Amazon, just like that. The difference here, so it's very similar in many ways because Amazon will send the customer the item, Amazon will handle the returns, Amazon will handle a lot of that stuff for you, just like we do with dropshipping. The difference here is obviously you're buying the inventory up front, whereas with dropshipping, you're buying the item on an item by item basis. So it is similar in many regards. You can even sign up for these prep centers where all the items you order from like Walmart or wherever, you have them delivered to a warehouse, and that warehouse, the workers there will do all the repackaging and send the items over to Amazon for you. So you could literally never even touch the item, just like you do with drop shipping, right? So the difference there is obviously you have to buy the items up front. I do a little bit of online arbitrage. I kind of dabble in it. My buddy Steve Rakin taught me how to do it. Well, really, I just took his course on how to do it. So that's how I learned. And it's working. Like I'm making sales doing it. Just kind of doing it as more of a side hustle, not putting like a ton of time into it, but it is working. I've done close to like $10,000 in sales in the past month at like a 30% profit margin or so, even a little bit more. So it definitely does work. And it is really cool, but you have to have that startup capital. You have to have money to invest up front. So pros and cons there with drop shipping, you don't need that startup investment, right? You can list items, only have to buy them when someone buys the item from you. So there's a lot less risk there. But the trade-off is like with online arbitrage, you usually get higher margins than you would with something like drop shipping a lot of times. Although on Facebook, the margins are really, really good. So it depends where you're selling. But yeah, it's a great business model. It's just different. Can we start drop shipping without a business license? Yes. Let's see. I have an eBay account from 2006. Will that help me? It could. It probably will. So older eBay accounts, if you have one, if you can dig one up from somewhere, it usually is better than a newer account for a number of reasons. First of all, older accounts that have been around, eBay is less likely to give you a problem with it. They're less likely to suspend it. They're less likely to, I don't even know what else I'm going to say about it. Yeah, less likely to like suspend you for it. More forgiving if you have some sort of defect on your account. And the other benefit of older accounts is that a lot of times they have higher listing limits on them. A lot of those older accounts are kind of grandfathered in. I've seen some with an unlimited number of listings or just really, really high number of listings. So if you have an account like that, you should definitely use it. Okay, good advice. Mike says, if you are using an obscure supplier and have a hot item that no one else is selling, please don't set the profit margin to 3%. Yeah, that's dumb. I don't know why anybody would do that. Using obscure suppliers that other people don't tend to use really can give you a huge competitive advantage, because obviously if no one's dropshipping from that supplier but you and maybe a handful of other people, you're going to have less competition on that item. But don't create a race to the bottom. Never do that for any suppliers. No need to set your margins that low. Nate says, I just listed my first 3 items on Facebook Marketplace. Should I be surprised I've had 0 clicks on all 3 in the first 24 to 48 hours? It's possible. I mean, if you're not listing up the right items or doing it the right way with the right titles, then no one's ever going to find those items. That is possible, or people aren't interested in them. That's totally possible. That's why it's really important to learn how to do product research, list the items the correct way, use good titles, and that will really increase the chances that your items will get seen and they'll get clicked on and they'll get purchased. Hey, what's up, Pittsburgh? How you doing, Bob and Jen? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Dale says, do you still think dropshipping from Amazon to eBay is a problem and something eBay hates? I think you said you use wholesalers for eBay mostly. So we haven't really seen this to be a problem over the past close to year now. This was definitely a problem in the past, but there were like multiple developments about this whole thing, where first it seemed like eBay didn't like people who are dropshipping from Amazon onto eBay. And if they caught you doing that, they would lower your listings in the search results. That's like what they would do to penalize you for it. But over the past close to year, we just haven't seen eBay really doing that. They've really backed off from doing that. Maybe it's economic reasons, who knows, but that's what we've seen. The other problem was about 2 years ago or so, maybe closer to a year and a half ago, Amazon started to shut down Amazon Prime accounts that were being used for reselling, for drop shipping. So we just don't use Amazon Prime, we use regular Amazon. So that's kind of the latest where we're at right now. If we're using regular Amazon Prime, using it on eBay, and we haven't really seen that to be a problem like it was in the past. There was a time when I was really pushing hard for wholesale drop shipping and really trying to rev those things up. We did get to a point where the wholesale drop shipping was really growing at a great rate, but I've kind of switched gears again, back more focus, I should say, on the retail drop shipping, just because I found it to be so much more scalable and capable of being automated. If you're using a software like AutoDS, you can automate so much of it. You can even have it buy the items for you from your supplier, like from different suppliers. So that type of automation really doesn't exist for wholesale. So that's why we've kind of put more focus on that, so we can kind of grow the more automated part of our business. But wholesale is still there. It's still a very, very strong option. Last year, I started eBay dropshipping. In 2 weeks, I made $1,500. I did not really give attention to tax payments. I'm not following you. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're asking or saying there, man. Sweet. Started dropshipping to eBay, and Paul, thanks. I am a successful person. Awesome, man. Where can I find the best-selling products? So for that, you need to do product research. There's 2 ways to do it. The free way, which definitely takes a lot more time, is by just going onto eBay and looking at different sellers that are drop shipping. It will literally tell you how many times each of their items have sold. So it requires a lot of digging on your part, but you'll be able to find those items and it will tell you how many times those items sold. Or you can use a software like Zeek Analytics. That's what we do. Zeek Analytics will do all that for you. It will look for drop shippers. It will scan their stores, and it will give you a list from the most popular item in the store to the least popular item. So you can just start at the top and you can find instantly all the most popular items that these dropshippers are selling. I have plenty of videos on YouTube about that. I know that wasn't like an in-depth explanation on how it works, but check out some of my product research videos on YouTube because I give lots of examples on how to do that. I have 100 items that I want to remove from my store. So unsold will be 100 and my sold items is 40. Will that negatively affect my store? No, I've never found that removing items from your store ever has a negative impact on your store, unless those items were items that were selling. So I've never seen that to be an issue. Omar says, I use OfferUp and Poshmark as a supplier if I'm dropshipping on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and so forth. And there's no TBA tracking numbers from Amazon. I would not use OfferUp and Poshmark as a supplier when dropshipping on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. And the reason for that is because, as far as I know, most of the items that are sold, or all the items that are sold on OfferUp and Poshmark, are single items. So someone might have listed up for sale like a chair on, let's say, OfferUp, or let's say Poshmark, it's a shirt. Well, a lot of times those items are used, and I don't sell used items on eBay and Facebook Marketplace. I only sell new. But let's say even if it was new on Poshmark, a shirt, as soon as someone buys that shirt, it's gone. So it's not like there's multiple quantities of it. If you're drop shipping from like Walmart and someone else buys the item from Walmart, there's still some more left. So there's stock that can be sold. Hey, what's up, Marjorie? Is it okay if a 15 to 16-year-old is drop shipping? You can, but you need to set up an account with an adult, like one of your parents maybe. They need to set up the account in their name and then you run it for them. Technically, you're not allowed to have an account as someone who's under 18 years old. But people do it, they just run it under their parents' name with their permission. Steven says, hey, Paul, I recently watched your video regarding the benefits of using Facebook Shops versus Marketplace. That's a good video, by the way. You should definitely check it out if you are interested in Facebook Shops at all. But Steven wants to know, if I want to scale my business up using shops, would you say one VA per Facebook shop is a good rule of thumb? Steven, I would say that one VA per store in general is a good idea. So if you're selling on eBay, Amazon, Facebook Marketplace, anything like that, when you're starting out, you should do everything yourself. You need to learn how it works. You need to master it yourself so that you know how everything works. That way you can teach it to a virtual assistant and make sure that the virtual assistant is doing it right. Now, a virtual assistant, we usually hire them from the Philippines, where you can usually hire like a few of them for how much it would cost to hire one employee in the United States. And you can have them run your store for you. Like I said, though, I find it really helpful to have one virtual assistant per store. And that's so that they know everything that's going on. In the past, I used to have multiple virtual assistants running like my eBay store, the one eBay store I had back then. And it got confusing because some of them would be placing orders while other ones would be getting messages from people who were wanting to cancel those orders. So it's kind of like no one's the middleman besides me. And I wasn't even working when they were working. So they work usually in the middle of the night to do those tasks, except for customer service. Customer service they did during the day. So I eventually downsized and have one VA per store. And if needed, I have that VA kind of hire an assistant to help them if the store gets too big. Will, without looking at your store, I can't answer that question. I would need to look at your store and see what items you listed, what titles you gave them, how you listed the items, what categories you chose. There's so many different factors. Without looking at your items and at your store, I don't know. Lorenzo says, I manage 3 Facebook accounts. Do I have to have 3 accounts with AutoDS, or can I just pay for 1 account with AutoDS? So if you look, what happened to AutoDS? Did I get rid of it? You can have multiple accounts inside of your AutoDS. What do I do with it? Well, I won't pull it up, but it's on the top left. You just click Add Store, and you can have multiple. You know what, Chuck? I don't know the answer to this. So Chuck says, I have a 90-day restriction on my Facebook profile due to political posts that Facebook didn't like. They are putting my post lower in the feed. Is this going to be a problem on my marketplace views and sales? To be honest, Chuck, I don't know. I doubt it because it's kind of like a separate thing. So for instance, I know people who can't sell on Facebook Marketplace because, or let's put it this way. I know people who have run ads on Facebook and they had their ads account shut down, but they can still post on Facebook. And because their ads account is shut down, they can't sell items on Facebook Marketplace either, but they can still post items on Facebook. So that leads me to believe that they are 2 completely separate systems, and you probably have nothing to worry about. So Christina, do you live in Illinois, or is that not to say you live in? I don't remember. I know you told me once where you live, and I apologize. I don't quite remember. I think you do, but no. Do you think I could use a VPN so eBay thinks I'm from the USA, even if I'm not? No, eBay, they can spot VPNs, especially if you use a commercial one like NordVPN, Windscribe, something like that. All those services, they only have like a dozen IP addresses, or maybe it's a couple dozen IP addresses that they will reuse. And so everyone is using those same IP addresses. eBay knows what they are, and they've kind of been blacklisted. So if you use one of those IP addresses, eBay is going to know. If you want to try that, you can use a dedicated static VPN. You can buy those from IP Burger. It should be, my affiliate link for IP Burger should be in the description of this video. IP Burger will give you a IP address that is exclusively for you, so no one else can use it. If you're going to do anything with VPNs, that is what I would do. Cool. Hey, what's up? No, Christina, you don't need to chat again when we do that in February. Ali, everyone's different. So Ali wants to know how long it'll take to see $100 in profit in Facebook Marketplace if I follow your course. Everyone's different, Ali. You know, I know the things I teach in there work. I've literally had students message me, show me screenshots saying, I signed up for your course yesterday. I've already made over $200 in profit. So it's already paid for the course within a week or a couple of days, really. So that really depends on you, your experience, maybe how quickly you take action, how quickly you pick up the information that I teach. I try to make it as simple as possible, but without knowing what action you will and won't take, it's impossible for me to answer that. So you got a new haircut, and Paul, you are my Facebook group. I'm not sure what you mean by that second part, but yes, I got a new haircut. It's the same haircut actually I got like a month ago or a few weeks ago. I just got them cut again. They grew. I'm not sure what you mean by Paul, you are my Facebook group. I think there's a missing word in there or something. Which one is easier to start, Facebook or eBay for newbies to see fast results? I would jump on Facebook. They're both great for newbies. Probably the simplest places to sell anywhere online is eBay and Facebook Marketplace. But right now, I'd say Facebook Marketplace is a bit simpler to start. There's less kind of things you have to learn with it than with eBay, which has like a lot of little things you have to learn. So Facebook is definitely the simpler place to sell. It's kind of like a pared down selling platform, which makes it easier, simpler. This is what we were talking about. You're paying tax, the seller's paying tax. You don't need to be doing that. In a lot of cases, you don't have to be paying sales tax on the item. The buyer is the only one paying sales tax. Mohammed says, when it comes to virtual assistants, how do they fulfill orders? Does the VA pay from their own money and then I give him the money, or how is it done? Or should I give him my credit card details? So I teach this in depth inside my course, how this works. So the first thing you need to realize is that if you're drop shipping from like eBay, you can use software that will fulfill the orders for you. So for instance, Autodesk can do that for certain suppliers. So you don't have to actually pay anyone to do it. You just pay the software to do it. So with that, you actually just upload money into it. Now, if you're not going to go that route, if you're going to use virtual assistants to fulfill your orders, then a lot of times you're going to be working with suppliers that actually have your credit card information stored on their website. So Walmart's a great example. When you create an account on Walmart, after you check out once, your credit card information is stored in there. You don't have to enter it again. In fact, anyone logging into your Walmart account can't even see your credit card information. You might need to give them the 3-digit code to verify the card, but other than that, they can't get your credit card information. It's just stored on Walmart. Now, even if that wasn't the case, which it is the case for pretty much every supplier I can think of. I can't think of a supplier that we use that doesn't store the credit card information where that's a problem. But even if it was a problem, you can just give them your credit card information. I mean, there's protections built into credit cards. I know you might not feel comfortable with that right away. That's totally understandable. I'm not saying to do that right away. But it is an option because if anything ever happens, you can report the card stolen, fraudulent charges, they get removed, no problem. But really, you don't have to worry about that because your supplier, they store the credit card information and they're just going to be charging your card. Can we dropship on Amazon? Not talking about Amazon FBA. This is something I've done. I've made a bunch of videos about it. You can go back like 2 years ago, year and a half, 2 years ago, and check out some of those videos. But dropshipping on Amazon, when it first started, I started doing it in 2018. It was killer, man. Like we were making a ton of money, ton of sales, dropshipping onto Amazon from like Walmart and Home Depot and these other places. So it worked really well. Now, over the years, it became more difficult for a number of reasons, but primarily because Amazon, it's not so much they have a problem with drop shipping, although technically they say it's not allowed on Amazon. It's more that Amazon doesn't like when sellers don't use FBA. So there's two ways to sell on Amazon. You can use FBA or FBM, fulfilled by merchant. And when you're doing drop shipping, you're doing fulfilled by merchant. But increasingly, Amazon wants you to use FBA. They want you to send your items into their warehouse and have them take care of sending the items to the customers and returns and all of that because they can do it faster. It creates a better experience for the buyers. So what that means is that if you're doing FBM, Amazon is super strict with their metrics, meaning it's really easy for you to kind of get defects on your account that can negatively impact your Amazon account. In fact, one of the metrics Amazon looks at is whether you upload a valid tracking number, and that tracking number actually shows that the item gets delivered. Now, for dropshipping, when we were doing it back then, every supplier we worked with would give us a valid tracking number. We were using mostly Walmart and Home Depot. We would get real tracking numbers. So we had no problem uploading into Amazon for every single order tracking numbers that actually worked. Despite that, we were still getting hit with a high percentage of orders that Amazon said the tracking numbers weren't valid. It made absolutely no sense. So that is an example of one of those problems that you just can't avoid. We're literally doing everything right, and Amazon is still saying we're not. So that was a problem for me. And what I also noticed was that new people who started selling on Amazon really couldn't start dropshipping right away. If you want to start an Amazon account for dropshipping, what you have to do is start an Amazon account, do FBA for 4 or 5 months, and then move over to dropshipping, which most people don't want to do. They if they want to do dropshipping, they want to go right into dropshipping. So it's become very difficult for beginners to start with it as well. Overall, it just kind of became more of a headache with all of these changes. I was getting overwhelmed doing tons of other stuff. I was doing eBay, obviously this YouTube channel, a second YouTube channel, and then I had just started Facebook Marketplace dropshipping as well, and I was doing Amazon. So I just felt like I had too much on my plate. I had to drop something, and Amazon was the one that was kind of giving us the biggest headache, so we got rid of that one. So that's the full story. Not sure what you mean by that. So you might have to pay sales tax when you buy the item unless you become tax exempt. And because you're your own business, you are going to be collecting the money. You have to save enough to pay income tax as well. Mel, where are you from? Where do you live? Will Walmart ship to Puerto Rico? Most suppliers don't ship to Puerto Rico. I put in all my marketplaces, I don't ship to Puerto Rico. Sometimes they charge more for it as well. Yeah, don't worry about that dark music. I think I emailed you back about that. How can we compete with these sellers found in Zeek Analytics? The sellers are basically telling you, the Zeek Analytics is telling you what these sellers are selling. So go ahead and sell the same products. You just want to change up the title, make the title different, your own title. Access Facebook Marketplace was revoked. How do I contact Facebook support to get it back? Again, I would join that Facebook group and the one for marketplace sellers and reach out over there because that's where people have seen the best luck. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Awesome, Robert. It says, so close to finishing your course. You make it so easy to understand. Thank you so much for all your hard work. My pleasure, Robert. Can't wait to see what you do with it, though. That's what really counts. Yeah, I believe I do. I think when you say tax, you mean like the fees eBay charges you. It's different for it's different based on what kind of store subscription you have that will affect it. I think I have a video about it. I definitely have a video inside the course about it, but I might have a video on YouTube about it. What is the best thing to do to be higher in eBay's algorithm? That's a great question. That is the $1 million question. So eBay's algorithm determines where in the search results your items show up. So when you search for like a chair, why are some items at the top and some items 5 pages deep? It depends on a lot of things. And most of it is, pretty much all of it is speculation because eBay doesn't tell us what affects their algorithm. It's a secret. But there's some things we know with reasonable certainty. So for instance, definitely things like the price of the item, the title of the item, the description, whether they have the title and description have keywords that sellers are looking for. Also things like item specifics. Certain item specifics will get you ranked higher depending on the search that's done. And in general, more item specifics are going to get you higher in the search results. Photos matter as well. High resolution photos are going to get you higher in the search results, and having more photos is also important as well. And then there's other things that people speculate about, but in my opinion, those things are the most important. Things like the photos, luckily, we don't have to worry about. We're going to get high-res photos from our suppliers. And you can use AutoDS to make sure you always max that out, the max number of photos. The main thing you have to work on are the titles for the items, making sure they have the keywords in there that people are looking for. And the category matters as well, the category. So making sure you're picking the right category. Yeah, so again, this is different depending on what type of store subscription you have, whether you're tax exempt or not. Yeah, mainly those things matter. But there are calculators. If you remember my course, I have a whole lesson on this. But there are calculators that you can look up, like an eBay fee calculator. JJ says, what's the best supplier to dropship from to keep from getting banned on Facebook? We're not seeing people getting banned on Facebook for dropshipping, so that's not going to be an issue. The lowest amount I've seen, it seems like people complain a lot when their order shows up in a Walmart box. I mean, all due respect, JJ, what makes you say that? Because we've dropshipped tens of thousands of items on eBay and Facebook and Amazon, and we have so very few people complain about the fact that the item shows up in a Walmart box or a Home Depot box or something like that. The percentage of people that complain is extraordinarily low. My guess is that the reason for that is because the customers just figure we're reusing boxes. Like when they buy from you on Facebook, they think they're buying from an individual person, which was what we are, right? They think they're just buying from some guy or some girl or some woman, sorry. So, who are at home, they don't have like a mass number of boxes, so they just reuse boxes they have, or they go to Walmart and buy a bunch of boxes, or they go to Home Depot and buy a bunch of boxes so they can use them to ship items out to customers. So that's kind of my guess as to why customers don't care that the items come in Walmart boxes. The site I use is called Online Jobs. My affiliate link for that should be linked up in the description as well. There is a fee to sign up for it, which is different from something like Upwork, which doesn't charge a fee to sign up. But we have found that the quality of the candidates from Online Jobs is better. And Upwork charges you charges the VA a fee. So if you pay the VA, let's say like $4 an hour, Upwork's going to take a cut right off the top and give them whatever's left over. And there's like a whole manipulation thing in there where like they'll charge less of a fee depending on how long the VA has been on Upwork. I don't like it, okay? I'm paying my VAs directly the money that they deserve, and they should get all of that, in my opinion. So that is what I like to do. That's how I've been doing it for a while. And I just get better candidates from there. John says, I'm new here, new to live, so sorry if this question has been asked. Do you have a complete course for beginners for dropshipping? Yeah, I do, John. It should be linked up in the description of this video, or you can just go to dropshippingtitans.com. That is my eBay course, open for enrollment all the time, so you can join whenever you want. That I don't know. Right now, the shipping option, that buy now button, is really only available to sellers here in the United States. Will that go to like Canada in the future? They've said it would, but we haven't seen it happen yet. Or we've seen them experiment in a couple of places, but who knows what they're doing. Milton wants to start a new eBay account. It's a stealth account, but he's going to use his girlfriend's information, but they live together. Yeah, so you have to use a different address. So what happened to Milton probably is that he got suspended for some reason. He's trying to start a new account, and you have to do that under like a family member or friend's name, but you can't use the same address. Everything's got to be completely different. Versus says, I would like to sell Walmart items on eBay. On Zeek Analytics, I see a lot of people selling items that cost less than $35. Would you suggest us selling those items? Yeah, if they're selling, go ahead and sell them too. Yeah, no problem with that. Yeah, no issue there. I mean, if the items are selling, it doesn't matter how much they cost. Usually, actually, cheaper items are better if you're starting out because they're more likely to sell and sell quickly. So cheaper items are generally better to sell for beginners. Mike coming in with a reminder to hit the like button. Appreciate you, Mike. No, like I said, it's only really in the USA. I'm not from the USA. Can I use a Facebook marketplace through my USA friend's account with his social security number and his PayPal and use an IP Burger VPN? Well, with his permission, you can. I mean, yeah, you can do it with his permission. The PayPal thing, you don't need PayPal. That's not needed for Facebook Marketplace or even possible, really. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. I would definitely sign up for IP Burger if you're going to do that, but, get his permission to do it. Escape wants to know if he buys a product from CJ Dropshipping, how long will it take to get delivered? I don't like dropshipping from outside the United States. In other words, like buying stuff from China and having it delivered to your customers here in the United States. I just think it takes too long. The tracking numbers sometimes aren't great. They're confusing. And a lot of times the quality of the item really isn't great as well. I really like dropshipping from US-based suppliers, whether that's wholesale or retail suppliers that are based here in the United States. The items are here in the United States. They can usually get to the customers really quickly. And you don't have to worry about like really long delivery times that you often get if you're dropshipping from like China. Mel's from the USA. Okay. I think you were saying you got banned or something. Yeah, again, without looking at, I hate to say this, but without looking at your account, I don't know why that happened to you. So for example, I've seen people who like swear they've done everything right with their account, and I've looked into it for them, talked with them, and I realized, and they revealed to me they had a VPN. They were using NordVPN when they signed up, and that's a bad idea. It's not something you want to do. There are like a few other little things like that can happen. I go through all those in my course because those are like the snakes in the grass, things that you don't see that can come out and bite you if you're not careful about them. That unfortunately some people just don't know about. That can kind of lead to some problems. In your situation, Mel, I don't know exactly what you've done, so I'm sorry without looking at your account. Ali says, do you ever try TikTok Shopify method? Everyone on YouTube is using it to make millions. Wow. Okay. No, I don't drop ship on Shopify. I don't like Shopify. Okay. I know that it works for some people and great, but Shopify is freaking hard, man. You have to build your own website. You have to pick a domain, buy a domain. You have to find the product, probably get it shipped to you from AliExpress, make sure it's good quality, which again, a lot of those items from like AliExpress, they're not great quality. So you're building this whole website for this product, doing product research that probably isn't that great. Now you have to pay for advertising, like pay for Facebook ads so that people can actually find your website, go to it, visit it, and then hopefully buy from you. And usually people end up spending a lot of money on ads and they never even make any sales. So I don't like Shopify dropshipping. I think it's just way too risky, too high of a fail rate. With something like dropshipping on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, the risk is so much lower. You list an item up for sale. Let's say worst case scenario, what happens? It doesn't sell. So what, right? All you did was waste a few minutes listing that item. It's not like you bought it. It's not like you built a domain. It's not or website or bought a domain. It's not like you paid for advertising. You just listed up an item for free on eBay and it didn't sell. So what? So now you go back and try again. You list another item up for sale, right? so much lower risk than doing something like Shopify that requires all this upfront work and money for advertising that you may never get back. Okay. To be honest, I'm not going to like make a promise about that. All I know is when it comes to API stuff, I've used it. A lot of my friends have used it. A lot of my students have used it now, and we all have not seen an issue with it. So that is all I can tell you. I only speak from experience. I'm not going to make any sort of guarantee there. Sweet. Anthony says eBay is doing well. Thanks for the advice. Recommend his course for sure. Thanks, Anthony. What do you use for a tracking number with Walmart when they end up delivering with DoorDash? Check out Track Taco. There's a new one out too called, what's it called? Q something? It's called Qtrack. Just a letter Q track.io. That's what it is. Let me pull it up. Okay. This is it right here, Qtrack. I haven't used this one yet, but I've heard good things about it. Okay. Can we sell the Black Friday specials on Walmart? Definitely. So the way this works is you're going to list items up for sale now from Walmart. So you're going to list them up for sale on eBay from Walmart or at Facebook Marketplace. You probably have items from the past that you've listed onto eBay or Facebook Marketplace from Walmart. And that should be linked up with like AutoDS. So what will happen is on Black Friday, as the prices on Walmart come down, your prices on eBay are also going to come down because AutoDS is going to automatically lower them because the prices on Walmart lowered. So that means that your items on eBay and Facebook Marketplace are just going to go on sale automatically, but you're still going to have the same profit margin percentage, I should say, which is great. And you're just going to make more sales because more people shop online during Black Friday and Cyber Monday. All right, just a couple more questions. Dale says, if you have a regular Facebook Marketplace account and a shop, when listing your product, do you post it? Where do you post it? I mean, that depends on you. There have been times when I've just really been concentrating on Facebook Shop, so I just was only listing there. And now we're kind of switching back to Facebook Marketplace because we're seeing more sales there. So we're just listing on the Facebook Marketplace instead. But there have been other times when I'm trying to figure out which one I want to go with and have been listed onto both. Yeah, so then Illinois, you need to get a sales tax number from Illinois. That's probably what they're asking for. So you should look up how to get that in Illinois. And, New York and Virginia, I don't know why they make you fill out forms for that. That's what they do. So there you go. Okay. What's going on with the back sink? What do you feed that plant? I think you're like the first person to ever ask about that. So this sink, right now I'm in my office, but this is actually a bedroom. That obviously we don't use it as a bedroom. I use it as an office, but it's a spare bedroom. When we bought the house, this brick wall is the back side of the fireplace. So on the other side is the actual fireplace, but these vents actually open up and heat from the fireplace can flow into here. But oddly enough, there's like this sink here and a vanity here. It's just like totally random. There's no toilet in here. This is a bedroom, but it has a sink and a mirror in here. It's just like really weird. It was built in the 40s. So maybe they used to have sinks in bedrooms. I don't know. The last seller thought it was quirky, so he left it. I thought it was quirky, so I left it. And I just added, I didn't know what to do with it. So I just added in this green ivy, fake green ivy I got from Amazon because I thought it would kind of look cool. I don't know what that's about. I think they used to have some sinks in, it still works. But I think they used to have sinks in bedrooms. Who knows? But that's it. That's a short tour of my home office. All right. So thanks everyone for hanging out. If I didn't get to your question, I'm sorry, but that's a full hour. So make sure to come to the next live Q&A. We do them every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Get here early and ask your question right at the beginning so I see it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We are closing in on 100,000 subscribers. Would love to get there early next year. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye for now.